Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Jacob Toth, undefeated amateur middleweight prospect. Hello, Jacob. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for taking the invitation. And in your last fight, it was July. You defeated the fighter who, on the paper, was the toughest challenge of your career. But to be honest, it was quite easy for you. So if you can tell me, how did you feel after this kind of performance?
I was definitely feeling really good. Definitely, like you said, best opponent by far that I was going to be facing. So I put together a game plan, and me and my coaches, and I pretty much just stuck to it. Everything went right as planned. So definitely really good.
And for now, do you hope that your next opponent will be tough enough to be ready for more than one round to fight with you?
Honestly, I like to try to get the fights done as soon as possible. Just give them as little of a chance to, land anything as possible. So the earlier they're done, the better for me. At least how I like to look at it.
And right now, do you plan to fight for the amateur title in Cage Thunder?
Yes, I was looking at both Cage Thunder and BCM. I'm still in college. I'm a senior in college, so I might be waiting till to finish up this school year, and then after that, probably start fighting a little more regularly.
And because that you are very good grappler, you finished you are submitting everybody. Do you want to fight against maybe the fighter similar like you, the very good fighter on the ground? Would you be interested in this kind of challenge?
Uh, I mean, I'm good with anything. Definitely anything. It would be kind of cool to get to face a grappler. I train at a mostly grappling gym, and then I train with a bunch of good grapplers, and then also I have a brother who's a couple years older than me, who was a college wrestler. So I get a ton of grappling MMA experience training with them every day. So really, whatever comes up, I'm good for.
And you have right now two rear naked chokes victory and two arm bars. And for you, which is the favorite one from these techniques?
Um, Probably I would definitely if I could get on the back, that's always ideal. So probably the rear naked chokes. I think both arm bars came from mount, so getting to one of those dominant positions. But ideally, I'd like to be on the back.
Do you have any technique that you would like to win your fight by, like grappling techniques, submission?
Yeah, I mean, I really like Darce's. Any front headlock attacks. I wrestled forever, so those come really naturally. Um, but really, whatever comes, I'll take it. I tend to not really get into those front headlock submissions when it comes to MMA. That's more of like jiu-jitsu matches. I run into those a lot more. But when it comes to MMA, anything from mount or the back, I like to try to get to a dominant position and then just set up the finish. And that usually is the rear naked choke or an arm bar or something like that.
And one of these arm bars was quite a nasty one. Let's say it was I'm not sure which fight it was, but it was a beautiful one.
Yes, yeah, and I think that was April. It was a pretty cool arm bar. It was kind of like a flying arm bar almost. It was maybe looking back on it, I should have set it up a little more because that I should have probably stayed in top mount and waited for a safer entry, but it all worked out, so still good.
Uh, And overall, what do you think about your striking? Because in your fights, we actually don't have much of the material to analyze to see, and you probably are the one of the only people that know how your striking is really look like. So if you can tell me, how do you feel about it?
Definitely always working on it. I have a boxing coach who helps me a lot. And then also I've been trying to pick up on some Muay Thai, working on leg kicks, knees, stuff like that. So it's a work in progress. It's definitely not up to where my grappling is. But I'm confident if I ever need to stay on the feet the whole fight, I think I would be fine. Ideally, I like to grapple. I think I'm a lot better there, but I definitely think my striking is up to, being able to stand on the feet with other people.
And how your like journey with BJJ with grappling started?
So when did I start jujitsu? Is that?
Yes, yes.
I started jujitsu when I was, I think, 16, so sophomore in high school, but I was only doing it while I was in high school through the summers because I wrestled the rest of the time. So I only did it like 2 months as a sophomore and then 2 months as a junior and senior. So I'm probably coming up around like 4.5 years, 4 years of jujitsu. But I started wrestling when I was 4, so I did that till I was 18. So I think I've been grappling for around 17 years now, if you mix the both of them.
And how do you feel, especially at the beginning, about fighting from the back? Because we know that wrestlers are usually like to fight from the top. So what do you think about being on the bottom and try to submit people from your back?
At the beginning, I definitely did not like being on the back coming from wrestling. That's something obviously that's very different. Now I really have no issue being on the back. Like I said, I work with my brother who is a college wrestler, so he sometimes will get the takedowns on me, and it forces me to work off my back. Ideally, especially when it comes to MMA, it's always get on top, stay on top. But I have no issue being on my back. I definitely think I have some good submissions from there.
How do you like get to MMA? Because we know that you have a wrestling and BJJ experience, but when you decided to go even as the amateur fighter, when you decided to becoming a fighter?
So when I was 18, coming out of my senior year of high school, my brother and I actually both signed to fight in this. I don't even remember what the promotion was. We both got a fight. I forget who it was even against, but it ended up falling out. So then going on to when I was 19, I was still looking to fight. I had a boxing coach and a couple guys at the jiu-jitsu gym who had fights in the past and just talked to them and seemed interesting. So when the second opportunity came up, I started talking to BCM, I believe it was. Yeah, BCM, and just signed up for the fight and went from there.
And you told that your brother is the wrestler, and as the kids, do you like fought all the time? Like sometimes it's happening with the like young brothers.
Yes, yeah, definitely. He's 3 years older than me, so definitely our whole life a little bit. He doesn't live at my parents' house anymore, so a lot less now, but just in the gym anymore.
And do you have in your gym the like also the young guys prospects like you that can have a like big potential in MMA?
Yeah, there's two guys who fight out of the gym only. It's the gym I'm at is mostly just a jujitsu gym. Very few people compete like through tournaments, but we have a lot of good guys, a lot of high level jujitsu guys. As far as MMA, Sam McGuigan, he's a 185 pounder. I think he's had like 10 or 11 amateur fights already. And then Jaden Tran is the other one. He just started up at our gym, but he's been training at a bunch of different gyms. He's going to be hopefully fighting in December. Both of them, I think, can definitely go pretty far.
And overall, do you like to train with the more of the smaller guys or the bigger ones, if you have to choose?
Always bigger guys if I could probably choose. I mean, it's good to mix. I guess it's good to get a mix, but I think it just helps with if you can, grapple with a 220 pounder, it shouldn't be a problem when you're trying to grapple with someone at 185 pounds.
And right now, you are, of course, a quite young fighter, but when you are thinking about your future, do you think that maybe a light heavyweight will be the move in the next few years?
I think probably middleweight. I mean, maybe at some point way later on. Definitely middleweight. My first fight as an amateur was actually at 170 pounds. And then my last three have been at 185. I think maybe if I ever maybe fought out of state or something where it wasn't same day weigh-ins, I could try to get to 170. That'd definitely be a huge cut, but I would be interested in doing that. But 85 probably is where I'll be staying for a while yet.
And what belt are you in BJJ?
I just got my purple belt a couple weeks ago, or a month ago about.
So congratulations
Uh,
for this. And do you like compete in like BJJ or no-gi grappling competition?
so I probably had, I want to say like around 30 to 50 jujitsu matches. And then this weekend, I'm actually in a jujitsu match at a gym around here. It's a caged grappling match. So I've done a bunch of caged grappling matches, which I really like because they simulate like a fight a lot closer than just a jujitsu match on a mat.
Do you like this concept is from Eddie Bravo, the combat jiu-jitsu, so the jiu-jitsu with open-handed strikes?
Yes, at one point, I definitely would like to try combat jujitsu. I think it's pretty cool. That'd definitely be something of interest later on.
I think that it is cool concept because some ways it is something between like a regular grappling competition and MMA, because in the end you have to be like a little bit worried about not to be hit in your head.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Whenever you bring into strikes in jujitsu, there's a lot of stuff that does not work anymore. So it's definitely interesting. It changes up how at least how I roll. It definitely changes up how I go about things.
And when you are thinking about your future, do you have like the plans for next few years? So in next year you would like to accomplish this, and another year something more. Do you have this kind of plans in your head?
Nothing like necessarily set in stone. I'd like to get maybe, I don't know, two more amateur fights at least, maybe three amateur fights. Um, and then eventually, definitely, I'd like to try to go pro at some point, but I'll definitely be competing in a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments and jiu-jitsu matches, really anywhere I can get them.
And what do you overall like prefer, MMA or BJJ grappling?
Uh, probably MMA overall. I like just mixing everything. I think it makes me a better fighter when I mix up all different martial arts, and it's interesting to learn a lot, especially when it comes to striking. That's something in the last maybe 3 years or so that I just started picking up. So it's definitely cool to learn something new. So with MMA,
Yes, and probably MMA is just like a better paying job, let's say. So the money are a little bit bigger, even if it's not like super big at this point. It's probably in the end a little bit bigger chance to earn money.
oh yes, yeah, definitely a better option.
And do you overall like see the UFC in your future? Maybe like 5 7 years or even less. Do you have this UFC goal in your mind?
I mean, that would be definitely cool. I would definitely want to shoot for that. I just kind of taking everything one fight at a time, and eventually, hopefully, I get to a point like that. But just taking one fight at a time and see where I end up.
And in the perfect world, when would you like to fight again? Maybe for the title this time.
Probably looking at probably coming up on the summer next, the next summer coming up here or a little after. Uh, I was considering fighting in December, but I still am in school, so I should graduate, I think, in about May. Yeah, in May. So after that, I'll have a lot more free time and availability to train. So that would be ideal.
And for now, when you study, how do you like mix both things like studying and training?
Really, I just train every night at not every night, like maybe 4 to 6 days a week at 6 p.m. to like 9 p.m. in that range. And then also I'll mix in lifting or hitting a bag or just shadow boxing in the middle of the day. But as far as practice, I just go to the normal, like 6:30 to 8:30 practices, and then sometimes on the weekends.
And overall, do you like to watch UFC fights, especially the big ones?
Oh yeah, I'm a huge UFC fight fan. I really don't miss too many fights. I watch all of them.
So this weekend, of course, it will be a quite big UFC because it's from the New York. So who do you think will win in the main and co-main event?
In the main event, I'm from Cleveland, so I'm going with Stipe. I hope Stipe wins. That'd be cool. I'm hoping for a knockout. I like John Jones, but got to go with Stipe. Then the co-mains, Chandler, right, versus Oliveira. I was talking to a couple of the guys at the gym. I'm thinking Oliveira within 2 rounds for submission. I'm going with, but I think Chandler has the chance to knock him out as well. So I'll be interested.
Yes, their first fight, it was like a lot of action in there. So I hope that it's like almost guaranteed that it will be the same. Doesn't matter how many rounds it's gonna be.
Yes, yeah, definitely guaranteed action in that one. I don't want to miss that.
And what do you think overall about middleweight division in the UFC? Do you have a like maybe favorite fighter, maybe the fighter that you think that will be a champion in the next few months?
I definitely like watching grappling. I used to be I know he's out of the UFC right now, but I always like Darren Till. Hopefully he can make a comeback. But I like Brendan Allen, Caio Borralho, Paul Craig. I'm a big fan of most everyone in the 85-pound division. There's a lot of good strikers too that I like watching, but I'm definitely more of a grappling fan. So anytime there's a good grappler, I like that.
And actually, Paul Craig would will be fighting against Bo Nickel. It's probably can be tough fight for him, but either way, he's always like a dangerous fighter. Either from his back, from the top, he's always can end the fight in like 1 or 2 seconds.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I don't think this is a great matchup for him, but I'm rooting for him to get the submission, definitely.
And do you have a like a fighter in mind that you would like to face a fighter from the UFC, but even in that dream fight scenario, so the fight may not happen, but in the end, you think that it would be cool to match your skills against his.
I've never really thought about that. Uh, no, I guess I don't have one that comes to mind. I guess that any of them would really be cool. I've never really thought about that, but
And when you are watching the grapplers, for example, Paul Craig, do you like to do you like to like analyzing his style and see how you could do something like this or even could do better?
yes, yeah, definitely. I always like to see new things, especially watching. I like to watch takedown setups in MMA. I always am watching that. If I was trying to like follow a style closely for grappling in MMA, I think Brendan Allen definitely has the best style. He has so many rear naked chokes, so that's always he's always just getting on the back and finding the rear naked choke. You don't see him on his back too much, but even when he is, he's attacking or trying to get out. So he would be one that I try to mimic, I guess.
Yes, and in the end, I believe that he lost his last fight, but in the end, he's in the top 10, and I think that he can be like in the top five in the near future because he's like you said, he's like a very good grappler, and of course, not only the grappler.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
And right now you are a quite young fighter, but if you like have to encourage young people to start some combat sport, maybe wrestling, maybe BJJ, how would you like encourage them? What would be like the main reason to encourage people to start any combat training?
I think like grappling specifically is really good. You're obviously not getting hit in the head if you're not interested in fighting, grappling's great because if you learn jujitsu and you go to a gym where you're learning takedowns as well, I think that's the best style, just blending grappling as a whole. You get to kind of decide where the fight goes, and then if you're a good wrestler and you can blend in three, four good submissions, you should do pretty good, even if you wanted to later on get into MMA. But I would say grappling in general, but jujitsu, if only one.
Yes, and probably the wrestling is the best tool to have in the end when you go to MMA because you decided where the fight takes place.
Yes, yeah, wrestling in general, just being able to get the takedown and decide, even if you're hurt or if you're not, just basically decide where the fight's going to go.
And before your fight, do you feel any kind of stress with the knowledge that you will be fighting in the cage and something like bad can happen?
I don't. I don't. I think that's mostly just from wrestling for as long as I can remember, starting at 4 to wrestle until I was 18. I've done so many wrestling matches. I kind of look at it kind of as, just a sport. Definitely bad things can happen, but I try to basically just focus on what I'm going out there to do. So I think that helps.
And in your free time, when you are not either studying or training, do you have any like maybe some other like hobbies?
Um, I mean, I always like to watch fights also. Big fan, kind of like we're talking about, but hanging out with friends, fishing, hunting, mostly that.
So the more of the outdoors things.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Okay, Jacob, so many thanks for the conversation. I hope that in next year you will become a champion, amateur champion, and then you will go pro and your career will be as successful as your amateur career right now.
Thank you. I appreciate it.